Greetings adventurers, Evenghost here, and today I want to talk about the Secret of Weepstone. If you grew up flipping through Dungeons & Dragons 1st edition manuals, you're going to recognize this immediately. The black and white ink drawings, the rough line art, the slightly grim look of those old TSR books. It feels like someone opened an 80s module and decided to turn it into a game. But it's not just the visuals. The feeling runs deeper than that. The map layout, the rune descriptions, the combat structure, even the way information is presented, all of it carries that old tabletop energy. I did not just feel nostalgic, I felt at home. The Secret of Weepstone is a dungeon crawler RPG developed by Talesworth Game Studio and published by DreadXP, currently planned for a 2026 release. There's a playable demo available, even outside of Steam Next Fest, and that's what I've been playing. The premise is simple but intriguing. An ancient warlord conquers land after land, then suddenly stops and builds a keep in this specific location. The nearby village prospers for decades. Then the warlord dies, his son takes over, and for reasons unknown abandons the castle to live in a mansion nearby. The village declines. The new lord falls ill with a strange sickness, possibly magical in nature, and his brother starts recruiting volunteers to explore the old keep and find a cure. That's where we come in. You control a group of 6 adventurers, but calling them adventurers feels generous. These are level 0 commoners with terrible ability scores, poor equipment, and absolutely no guarantee of survival. Eventually, they can grow into proper roles like thief, cleric, magic user, and so on. And yes, races function like classes, just like in 1st edition. Elf is not just a race, it's a path. A fighter and wizard combined, with heavy experience requirement. If you know, you know. What I love is how fragile everything feels. You open a door and you hesitate. You find discarded gear and it's barely usable. You run into goblins or kobolds and it's not a warm-up fight. It's really dangerous. With armor class and hit points this low, every encounter feels like it could go wrong fast. Combat is turn-based and built around the party composition on a 3x3 grid. The front row handles melee, the back rows need rich weapons or ranged options. Enemies follow the same logic, so you are constantly thinking about formation and exposure. Initiative is rolled once per side, not per character, so if the enemy group goes first, you feel it. Being on the receiving end of 6 attacks in a row when you are this fragile can be brutal. Attacks follow classic rules. Roll a d20, add modifiers, check against armor class. If you hit, roll for damage. And when I say roll, I mean it. There are actual dice animations. You watch that d20 tumble across the screen and you feel the tension. Will your barely trained kid with a sling finish that wounded monster? Or are you about to hit another round of hits? The RNG can be unforgiving. I also could not save during my time with the demo, so there was no safety net. I don't know yet if that's specific to the demo, or if the full game will tie saving to rest locations or limited resources, but it adds to the sense of danger. What surprised me the most, though, is how smooth everything feels. For a game that looks like it came straight out of a 1st edition manual, the interface is minimal, clean, and intuitive. Moving through the keep, interacting with objects, transitioning into combat. It all flows naturally. There is no clunkiness, no fighting with the UI, and dungeon crawlers can sometimes be janky. But not this game. It respects your time while still keeping that old school soul. Exploration is exactly what you want from a dungeon crawler. Chests to open, levers to pull, traps to disable, doors to force open. There are small puzzle moments, like smelting your own key to access the armory. Every room has a written description, like a DM reading from a module, and the narrator is great.
The large forge at the center of this room seems long dormant, but the smell of coke and coal still permeates every inch. Crates, barrels, and scattered ashes are scant reminders that this was once the beating heart of the keep.
When you open the map, it looks like an actual adventure book, complete with numbered rooms. It even appears to be fully voice-acted, which adds a lot to the atmosphere. There is a bit of humor here and there, but there is also a creeping sense of something wrong beneath the surface.
You emerge from the hole, smelling foul and feeling quite ill. And let us see if you are poisoned. Let's just say that you're poisoned.
There is an eldritch horror undertone to the whole thing. You start wondering what the warlord found in that place. Why did he stop conquering? Why did the prosperity fade once the castle was abandoned? What is really hidden in those halls? The Secret of Weepstone doesn't just copy the look of old D&D, it understands the vibe, or the mood if you will, the danger, the fragility, the sense that you're stepping into something bigger than you. And somehow, it manages to feel modern and smooth at the same time. I am really curious to see how this develops into a full release. If you grew up with first edition manuals and that black and white ink art still lives in your memory, let me know. You're not alone out there. And if you are newer to this style but intrigues you, I would like to hear that too. I've grown up with Western RPGs and I'm still exploring them, both old and new. If you enjoyed spending some time here, consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps a lot. Take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next video.
A large, barren courtyard opens before you, complete with mature trees and cobblestone walkways. As you cross the threshold, a sprinkling of pebbles and dust rain down from above.